Hello, and welcome to the Gaia update for Year of the Rat 2020. I'm Adrienne Elise. So on January 25th, 2020, we will be moving into the Chinese Year of the Metal Rat. So Chinese New Year begins the day after the new moon in Aquarius. And the Year of the Rat is the first sign in the 12-year cycle that is the Chinese Zodiac. So we're looking at new beginnings, which very much fits the Western astrology. A lot of the messages that we've gotten coming in, preparing for new energies ahead, and really fits the energy of Uranus and Taurus. So each year of the Chinese Zodiac is also flavored by whether it's yin or yang, male or female year, as well as what element year. So this year, Year of the Rat, is the year of the Yang metal rat. So the rat itself is yin, and so it represents rain. And the metal rat represents an energy. Metal can represent in Chinese astrology a strong wind, but also stability and structure. And the yang energy, or the yang energy, represents strength, determination, and will force. So this is a year to batten down the hatches and prepare for the storm ahead, and know that though our hard work and our determination can really pay off if we can do that. Because when you put together the rat and the metal and the yang, we've got an energy of a ship in a storm, in a rainstorm, but a strong ship that can weather the storm. And so this is a good energy for us right now, as we can sense all of the powerful changes that are coming. And so the first year of the zodiac, in the Chinese zodiac, of this 12-year cycle kind of flavors the full 12 years. So it's a very important year to set energy, set intention, and set your course. So let's explore these themes of the year of the Yang metal rat. So the rat in Chinese astrology is seen as very industrious, also very smart and cunning, and also very determined. So these are energies that we can put to use in this year ahead, which very much fits the themes of all of these planets in Capricorn. So part of what in the Western astrology, what makes 2020 so intense and powerful, is that Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are all in Capricorn this year. Now, Capricorn is a sign of hard work and determination. And so when we take that energy of the rat, of being smart and cunning and determined, with the yang and the metal energy, this is an energy, and then the new cycle. This is an energy of hard work that we've done for a long time, maybe this whole last 12-year cycle, finally coming to pay off. Now, the metal energy has an energy of the resources of the earth and of durability. And yet the newness of this cycle speaks to a lot of what we've been getting hints and clues about our financial system, and perhaps new energies towards moving towards, in this year, towards a financial reset or a complete change in the way we see our financial system. Very much fits. Also, Uranus in Taurus really fits that energy. But for the individual, it's a great time to establish your wealth based on the hard work you've done in the past. And so bringing forward projects and launching new projects, and the hard work and determination that comes with that stage of the journey, is a big energy for this year. But with all of this Capricorn energy and this industrious, determined rat energy, and the metal and the yang energy, the male energy, is about using our will force and taking action in the world. And so those elements together can mean that you can really take your dreams from dreams into manifestation, into wealth, into physical wealth, and that's kind of the energy of this year. It can really pay off if we focus and get to work. And that's definitely where the rat comes in. Now, it's interesting because when we think of a rat, in general, in the animal, it's kind of like, it's a little creepy. It hangs out in the dark. It's sneaky. It's nocturnal. And there's some really negative connotations. And yet in Chinese astrology, the rat is seen as a very abundant year, and a year of fertility, and a year of strength. And so this is a desirable year to have a child in the year of the rat. And so, because the rats reproduce so quickly, and so it's an energy of fertility. So couples will pray to the rat for their fertility. And the rat, even though we have these kind of negative ideas about the rat and the archetype of the rat as an animal, the rat in Chinese astrology is seen as very trustworthy and has integrity. And this is some of the energy of the Capricorn energy too, where rat will tell you the truth about how they feel. And this is very much this Capricorn energy that's going on right now. And Capricorn has an energy of integrity and working for what's right and what's true. And that's really interesting when we look at the changes that are going on in the revealing of secrets in our world, the revealing of corruption in our world. And we've all heard these energies be referred to as the rats, So let's explore some of these archetypes. And so when we think of rat, a lot of the times we think of the terms that we use, So you can rat out somebody. You can use rat as something's very ratty or, rat infested. It's dirty. It's not clean. And yet rats keep themselves incredibly clean. They're constantly cleaning themselves. So it's an interesting energy to look at these just different kind of archetypes and way that we see the rat and look for clues about what this year might mean for us ahead. So rats are very communal, and so this is a good energy. It's very important to reach out and seek out your true community this year. And it's kind of like the rat only thrives when it's got its buddies, And so that's a very important year. And it could mean that this is a year for these soul groups to find each other and get to work on these bigger projects, because we all have this idea of something that we're here to do, something we're here to work on. And yet we only have one little piece of the puzzle, because these are group projects. So the year of the rat has a great energy of being able to find each other and get to work on these amazing projects. And that's what allows the rat to thrive. So it's really important to this year to understand the importance of the bigger group you're working with, because I work with these soul groups quite a bit in individual sessions and the group work, and oftentimes the groups are working on the same issues, and they're working together, they're informing each other on this other level, and yet they feel completely lonely and isolated. And that's something that the rat needs to claim, that community and that social structure. Now, rats are so smart and they're so cunning and they're so similar to humans in a way that they've become the focus of a lot of medical and biological behavioral experiments. And this is a really interesting energy for us to explore as we're waking up to the truth of the lies of this world that we live in and the control-based structures that we have been trying to navigate in, kind of like a rat in a maze. Now, it's interesting because a rat in a maze, what they found is that once they find their way through the maze, they will never forget. Okay, so the rat has some powerful medicine for us around finding our way out of the maze, finding our way out of the lower matrix, finding our way out of the lies, and not forgetting who we are and getting out of the trap and out of the game. And so this is a very powerful year. And then being that beginning of the 12-year cycle, it's speaking to this age we're moving into. So powerful year to be present with what the messages that are coming through. See, the rat works on instinct, and that's a very powerful energy of this Chinese zodiac sign. And so it's like really being present with your immediate intuition and paying very close attention. They're incredibly observant. This is why they're so smart, and so we want to observe them around our human behavior, because they are incredibly smart and cunning, and by watching them we can learn more about humans and maybe how to control humans behaviorally, right? And so the rat is a really interesting energy, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the way the rat energy comes through in as a homeopathic remedy. So rat, the blood of the brown rat, which is our basic sewer rat, city rat that we would kind of imagine when we think about a rat, and the blood of that rat is used as a homeopathic remedy. And so it's really interesting, because the way they figure out how a homeopathic remedy, what can be cured, is by doing what's called a proving. And so people get together and they take this remedy, and then half of the group will take a placebo, half of the group will take the actual remedy, and then they will pay attention to what happens to them, to their dreams, to their feelings, and kind of continue to take the remedy until they exhibit some sort of symptoms. And this is what's called a proving. And so it's really interesting to see what came through the rat proving and look at what that could tell us about the year of the rat. So it's interesting in Chinese astrology, where the rat is associated with integrity and telling the truth. And this is a really good, powerful energy as we speak about ratting out the rats of corruption in our political system. And so in the homeopathic remedy, the distortion of what the rat could... So in a homeopathic remedy, you're always going to find two sides, right? Because there is the duality. So it's like, and that's what's so interesting. It's like the rat being represented as integrity, but then in the homeopathic proving, people who would benefit from rat medicine often would lie without repercussion, not realizing that, kind of just lack of a sense of that, just misrepresenting yourself is somehow wrong. And the rat's energy is also got this. It's really interesting, the sensations that came through the proving around being trapped in mazes and trapped in tunnels and having to hide and in the darkness and losing your way and not being able to get out. And so a lot of what we've done to rats in these experiments kind of has come through the proving, and then looking at the metaphorical energy of us being trapped in this lower dimensional reality, this lower matrix. And perhaps this year of the rat, this brand new fresh start, is an opportunity to see through the truth of these dynamics and find our way out of this game. Now, another interesting thing that came through the proving is a feeling of a connection to this kind of goddess energy. So the rat, kind of like the Anastasia myths in Africa around the Great Mother, is a spider, and the Great Mother being, connected, this kind of dark, powerful energy of the feminine is associated with the rat. But when that energy came up in the provings, it was also a feeling of this energy being controlled. So rat kind of speaks to the power of the divine feminine, but then also control energies around that. And this feeling and a fear of being engulfed and controlled by a force outside of yourself, probably like the rat feels in the experiment, right? And it's interesting how rats in nature have a little bit more competitive energy like an animal. But when rats are in an experiment setting, when they're contained and captured, they become very supportive and affectionate with each other. And it's kind of got this energy almost like of a social organization being a way to protect themselves from an outside threat. And this social bonding of like really cleaning each other and helping each other seems to be a mechanism that comes forward as like a survival mechanism from being in captivity. And so it's interesting though, because it's kind of like maybe we can learn something from that. We have been so long in this paradigm of divide and conquer, where the control energies want to keep us hating and fighting each other, because we will never then go against the control energies because we're too busy fighting each other, right? And the control energies are a very small number of people, and we are a lot. There's a lot of us, so there's an energy of coming together to support each other in true community, to rewrite this story. Brand new start, brand new cycle. We've got to do it differently. We know that if we don't make major changes in our world, in our psyche, in the structures of our world, that's that Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Capricorn, then we are heading down the wrong road, right? And so that's a big energy for all of us. And it's good to have this new start of a zodiac year being like, okay, time to start a new pattern, time to get out of the rut, time to get out of the maze, find our way through. So really powerful energies there. And it brings to mind, this sensation that came through the homeopathic proving is how a lot of people feel. It's almost like rat could be a remedy for us right now, because a lot of people feel trapped, feel lonely, alone, without community, feel dark, feel scared, like they have to hide. That was kind of the energy of what came through the proving, like gotta stay in the darkness and stay in the shadows. And maybe that's where this kind of deceit and energy comes in around the rat. And so it's an interesting energy. And so it's really interesting what happens when sometimes people take this remedy in part of the proving, this experiment, and they'll have a curative response. And the curative response that came through the proving was for a general sense of anxiety. One of the things that comes through the dreams of people taking this medicine have to do with destruction, catastrophe, earthquakes, very dark and disturbing nightmares. So that would, really fit a lot of the psyche that's going on right now as we try to clear out these deep, ancient stories of our planetary experience and rewrite these stories. And so it was interesting that a lot of provers experienced a sense of like their anxiety had gone away, an ability to be present in the moment like they hadn't experienced, maybe not even realizing that they were in anxiety, and just feeling the strength and stability and an ability to be in the moment, a release from an overwhelming feeling of duty and responsibility, and just feeling like they could be present. And that's that kind of, maybe that great mother energy of this substance, this medicine of the rat coming through the proving. So it's an interesting energy for us because it's got this whole thing of what's dark, what's hidden in the corners, and sickness. Now, rat has been one of the main things that comes forward when we think about rat is the plague, right? And so it's like, ooh, the rat is dirty. It carries diseases, and it does. It carries about 35 different diseases that we could get. But it's interesting also the energy of the rat and what we're looking at today, and this whole great goddess energy, and how that's been turned to and made into a dark and ominous thing in our world, because it wasn't actually the rat that carried the plague. It was the flea that had infected the rat, and so the rat is falsely accused and called this dirty animal when it's actually very clean. And so there's kind of an interesting energy there of this great power of this dark goddess of the yin of our world, of this great mother energy being manipulated into and controlled by darker energies, called darker, called the shadow. So it's like, it speaks to all of us who have been in female bodies and then called these negative archetypes like the witch or the whore, when we were really just trying to bring healing to the planet, and then burned or persecuted. And so the rat kind of speaks to this energy and about the hidden truths, the dark, dark secrets. And so people who are generally are indicated clients who would need the rat remedy feel very, very dark inside, like low and horrible about themselves, and that's a lot of this programming, especially in the female energy, in the female lineages on the female side of the families. And so that's a very interesting energy. And what they found in research of rats is that there's often there's a parasitic relationship, like say with the flea, with the rat, and the parasite actually has the ability to change the behavior of the rat. And that's a really powerful energy and a concept for us to contemplate, because part of the problem, the whole problem with our situation the way it is right now, is that we are allowing ourselves to be parasitically fed upon, right? So the control energies that are holding this paradigm that's keeping us basically in quarantine from our spiritual evolution, they are the energy they're using to create the lower paradigm and the lower matrix is our own energy, right? And this is really intense right now because, like with technology and social media, it's literally like they feed on us through our attention and where we put our attention. And that's exactly what they found was happening with these parasites in the rat, that this little tiny parasite changing the behavior of the rat. And this is kind of a metaphor for where we're at right now. Just totally asleep, most of us, to the fact that we're being parasitically fed upon. And then to the point where that sickness gets so deep and ingrained that we become parasitic to other people, in the narcissist type of stories. And this is the biggest danger and the biggest delusion of our time. So we've got to pay attention to what we're feeding with our energy and with our attention. And this is the year of the rat. So the year of the rat in Chinese astrology, being a person of integrity, does speak to revealing these darker secrets and distortions of our world. And so something that comes to mind in this whole rat energy is because we have the metal, right? And we have the yang. And these are energies that are actually really good for us right now, because metal is about being noble. Metal is about being, metal is not reactive so much with the other substances in the periodic chart. And so it's about being strong and in your will. With the yang energy, it's about taking action and being strong. And the metal energy has courage and strength. And so these are really, really powerful energies that we need to reveal the secrets so that we can escape the maze. And one thing that comes to mind is if you've ever read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and how, just a little spoiler if you haven't, but it ends up that the Earth is a simulation that was created by these highly intelligent mice. Right? And so it's the mice that are running an experiment on humanity. And that is kind of exactly what's going on in our world, because the control energies, what I've been shown is that they're lower dimensional from where these souls that are drawn to this work, from where you came from and the experiences you've had. And so these lower dimensional energies, higher than where we are in 3D, but lower from where you came from, is what's holding this lie in place. So it's only a matter of time until these advanced souls, there's so many on the planet right now, but they're feeling low self-worth, they're feeling trapped, they're feeling isolated, they're feeling constantly invalidated in their soul purpose, So this is everything that we're working on in this year ahead. And a lot of the medicine is that determination, hard work, that strength, that will, that standing up for your truth, standing up no matter how that programming of low self-worth and invalidation, where your magic, your gifts and abilities and past lives were turned into something wrong and bad, and something that needs to be hidden, something that's dirty. That's this energy of the rat stuck in the dark corner. And so very, very potent messages for us here. And maybe the integrity piece, waking up, revealing the secrets of the dark corners, ratting out the rats and in the corruption of this world, and seeing how controlled we've been. Because that's the big thing that's keeping us from really moving forward, is that humanity doesn't understand that they've been kept in captivity, And so if you don't know that you're in a game, and you don't know you're in the maze, you don't know you're stuck in the matrix, then how are you ever going to get out, right? And so this is a big part of the revealing of the truths that are coming in this next year. And I would see powerful energies around that. At the same time, individually, and for these particular souls, all this hard work you've done for many lifetimes starting to pay off, the blessings coming in, finding your people, getting back to work on these amazing projects you've been working on for so many thousands of years, and that you forgot and you kind of sense, but it's time to really come into the reality of these things and break out of the maze in the game. And so using the wit and the cunning and the instinct of the rat to pay very close attention. Vigilance is so powerful right now, and holding on to the moment and the instinctual intuition, where you just, because when we're aware, that's like the biggest tool we have to break out of these patterns and these cycles and these programming. And the rat is kind of constantly paying attention. That seems to be the closer you get to freedom, the more these forces will work against you. And you have to just be exceedingly vigilant, because there will be a period of time when everyone around you is playing to keep you in the game, right? And you got to be so there is that necessary place of isolation, and yet on the other side of that is this coming back together with your true soul group, and finally getting to work on what you came here to do. And so that's the other side of coming out of the maze and the trap in the lower matrix. And a lot of people think if I spiritually ascend, or if I raise my vibration, or if I get out of the lower matrix, I'll be all alone. I'll just be floating out there in the universe, and I can't have anybody else in my life. I can't, and that's part of the illusion, the delusion, and what we've been programmed with. And it's not true at all. You keep being right here. You're just operating on a different plane, and everybody can be there, but then you can find these other people that are operating on this other plane. And you don't have to lose your body. You don't have to go through a whole bunch of ascension symptoms, That's where we get resistance to these changes, because we think that we have to die or we're going to lose our body. That's total programming, right? And then once you kind of allow yourself to take that leap and move into the new energies, you realize, oh, these can hold me and move me, and life can move me and support me rather than working against me. That's the shift that actually happens when you move into the higher frequency vibrations. And so as this beginning of a new zodiac cycle, it's a great time for these souls to, complete this process, move into this new energy, and start establishing this new reality that lies ahead, and why you're here for that. And so, but first you have to allow it for yourself. And so we can use this energy of integrity and industriousness, cunning, and get ahead and out of the game. So I hope you have a wonderful 2020, year of the rat, and I look forward to seeing you on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.